Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
And we are recording at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma.
Where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. Remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're listening to, like, subscribe, follow. Whatever it is on your favorite podcast or your favorite app for podcast.
And be sure to catch us at Louie's on every Thursday night.
Every Thursday night except this Thursday night.
Right. This Thursday night we will not be at Louie's.
Yeah, because we will be celebrating the 4th of July from somewhere.
Possibly the Bricktown Ballpark.
Yeah. Nothing better than a baseball game on the 4th of July.
Dude, you know I love baseball anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll go watch high school kid.
Yeah. But next Thursday we'll be out there, but also check our videos out on YouTube. Thursday night at Louie's. And once again, you can go by there and tell them that we sent you or that we said hi, and they'll probably look at you funny.
They'll probably just go, who?
Who? What?
Also, don't miss the episode of QB1 that's coming out on Netflix, a Netflix original, where we will some of our podcasts will be on there talking about Spencer Rattler.
Yep. We're big time now. Big time.
Right. We're
And
kind of a big deal.
yeah. And tailgateconnect.com for all your tailgating needs. If you want to know where all the great tailgates are at across the country, www.tailgateconnect.com. Dan will get you set up. He is also hosting the Sooner tailgate at the Rose Bowl when we play UCLA. You can go to tailgateconnect.com, click on the buy. It's $40 for all you can eat and drink, and starts at 11 o'clock and ends at 4 California time, because the game kicks off 7 here, 5 there. So
5 there, yeah.
So all day long, pretty much.
It's going to be an awesome day.
Yeah.
Beef tri-tips, and he's got all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
he's got all kinds, some California food, that.
I don't want no sprouts, Terry.
No sprouts. I don't know what else the Californians eat out there,
Sprouts and guacamole.
Yeah, and probably some vodka, knowing Dan, and I think he's got 2 kegs coming, I think he said. So, but or the kegs are ordered or something like that. But all the food and everything's been ordered. He's going to share with us probably later on this month when he's in town. He's going to do the podcast with us, and he's going to.
Very nice.
We're going to go down on Louie's on a Saturday night. He's going to be in, and we're going to invite some other folks out as well, and we'll do some podcasts from Louie's, and he's going to share more of what the menu is going to look like. So, Rob, you bought all your firecrackers?
I'm not much of a firecracker purchaser.
Were you ever a firecracker purchaser?
Not really. Not really.
See, I grew up out in the country in McAllister,
Yeah.
and bottle rocket fights, Roman candle fights. That was
I did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I just see fireworks almost. I mean, I love to watch them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Love to watch the city do their thing. But as far as buying them, I'm like, this has got to be the biggest waste of money I ever had in my life. I mean, literally, once you light that fuse,
it's gone.
it's over. So,
Yeah, and I get, the fireworks stands open up here in Oklahoma about a month before. They've been open like 3 weeks to a month before. And I'm like, why are you? Is there really anybody that buys fireworks? I mean, even
apparently, or they wouldn't do it.
Well, normally back in the day, and when we, kids and stuff, or we had kids, we'd go to the fireworks stand at like 6 o'clock, because everything was like buy 3 get 1,
Right.
buy 1 get 3 free. They're trying to get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
So
that's the time to go. You don't want to go early because they're trying to charge double and stuff.
So it's 4th of July. I hope everybody has a happy 4th of July
And a safe one.
Yep.
And you know what? The weather's going to be
It's going to be nice.
nice.
Yep.
High of 85. So
Did you watch a soccer game today?
I did not.
You did not. You're not a.
No, I'm not. No, go ahead. Tell me about
I
it.
have no idea. I know the United States won, so.
One was it boys, girls, or co-eds?
Girls.
Girls.
Co-eds.
Is there not co-ed? I
No,
don't know.
there's not.
Okay. Well, what did they? I mean, it's the
World Cup.
World Cup.
Yeah.
And was today like the
semifinals? They're in the finals.
Oh.
They beat England.
They beat England?
Yeah.
Well,
So
there you go.
yeah.
So who else? I mean, are they
I don't even know who they
undefeated?
play. I don't know.
They beat like Thailand 100-0 or something.
Yeah.
Everybody was losing their
Well,
mind.
if Caleb was here, he could tell us all about it. But
Yeah.
you watching Wimbledon?
No.
Which one of the Williams sisters? Venus? Serena
Serena's is the good one, right?
Okay, yeah, sir. I can't remember. But anyway, one of them yesterday got beat by a 15-year-old girl.
Really?
Yeah. So
Is it weird that I find her mildly attractive? I'm just saying. She's kind of got like a man's body, and I'm not attracted to men at all. I mean, no offense to you, whatever, float your boat or whatever, but that's just not me,
Yeah.
right? But she kind
So
of.
could you take her in a fight?
Yeah. Without question.
Ronda Rousey, could you take her in a fight?
Of course. She weighs 110 pounds.
Yeah, but is it Venus? I can't. Serena. One of them. I can't remember which one. But she lost to, and it was cool. This girl was 15 years old, playing in Wimbledon and playing one of her heroes, and
Wow.
put her out in the first round.
Well, I remember when the two of them were coming up, and they were like, "These two young black ladies are gonna, be the next generation of tennis," and they have been for however long now. And so I guess it's time for the
next generation to
take
come
over.
in. But we will have a fan on here in just a few minutes. We were running a little bit behind tonight. We've put him off from last week, so we'll have Shawn Woodson on here in just a little bit. Anything going on, Rob, out there that has tipped your boat, rocked your boat?
Well, I'm not a big NBA fan. I just don't want. I probably, I doubt I watched a game this whole NBA season. If I ever am going to watch NBA, I'm going to watch the Thunder.
Yeah.
And I don't mind seeing some of the stars play, not Kevin Durant. But but apparently there's been a lot of trade. Like this is major trade year.
Yeah.
Is that what?
I don't know. I'm like you with it.
We need Caleb in here because that's right up his.
Yeah.
Power
I know they were talking about Steven Adams was on the trade block, but I guess they didn't have to trade him. So
yeah, I heard that they were trying to though.
yeah, they put him out there.
What are they trying to get, a shooter or something?
I don't know, but I know he nobody's gonna take him. Doesn't want to take him because he makes $25 million a year. So yeah,
you know what? I think he's gonna be worth that. I mean, I think he's pretty good, and he's only gonna get better. So.
Yeah,
and he's still young, right? How old is he?
I don't know. He's
mid-20s?
Big. Yeah, I liked him in Aquaman though.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, what's going on with the Sooners right now? It's summertime. We did have the 3-star linebacker decommit from Okie Stank. The Cowboys lost another commit. This one, the last one was because he took an official visit. This one is because Oklahoma showed interest.
You know something? I might be a spoiled Sooner fan, but I'm thinking, listen, we need 4-star. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry about your bad luck only being 3-star, but go put on the orange.
Well, it's still early. I mean, he'll probably earn another 4-star.
Think he'll get a 4-star? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be all right with it then.
But I mean, again, back in our day, I don't know, it was all blue chips. Yeah, he's a blue chip player.
Yeah, he's either a blue chip or he's not.
Yeah, and so the Elite 11 quarterback camp is going on. Jalen Hurts was as a camp counselor, I guess, down there, and apparently Saturday he picked up the football and just zinged it all over the yard to everybody through 20 passes, dazzled the crowd. A lot of people were saying that he's improved as a passer that know him.
Well, that's what Lincoln Riley does.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Now, one of the cool things I was reading on 24/7, I can't remember which guy wrote it, but OU Insider, he can't talk to him, but he can be there to cover it because, he's a player. But he said that Jalen was sitting just next to him, and some players came up and talked to him for a little bit, and then they were walking off, complimenting him and stuff. Then they're walking off. one of them hollered out, Heisman Trophy, man, and the other one was like, first round draft pick too, brother, or something like that. And, Jalen's response was championship.
Nice.
Thank you, Jalen. I like you more today than I did yesterday.
Yeah, even though he's still going to win the Heisman.
Yeah. And probably be the first round pick.
Yep.
But so that was pretty cool. And of course the opening's going on right now. Last year Oklahoma had a ton of recruits there. Hazelwood, Weiss, Bridges, Stogner. They were all on Spencer Rattler's team. It was basically an Oklahoma team.
New Wave.
Yeah, New Wave 19.
Yeah.
And this year we've got no quarterback there, but we've got star offensive lineman Nate Anderson, 3-star cornerback Ryan Watts, elite running back Seth McGowan out of Mesquite, and 5-star running back Jason McClellan, who was part of Rattler's team last year. So we still got some.
That's not the kid. That's not the kid that ran the 4.2 something or other, is it?
I have no idea.
Because we had a running back that was committed. I think he decommitted though.
Yeah.
I want to say his name was McKnight or something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of fast, did you see the 20-yard sprint with just went blank.
Hollywood Brand.
Kyler Murray. And the kid, there was a group of guys running, and one of the guys was the guy who had the 4.2 in the combine.
I did not see that.
Yeah. Guess who won the 20-yard dash?
Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Man.
And not by, a little bit. He
dusted him up, huh?
It wasn't a dusting, but he was, if they'd have stretched out for another 20 yards, it would have been interesting.
Huh.
But anyway, again, like I said, the big news was that Brynden Walker, 6'3", 230-pound linebacker who had committed to Oklahoma State, commits to Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't offer him early, and it's funny because apparently the reason why, when Oklahoma approached him, his mom was upset that it was, why'd y'all wait so long? And so he committed to Oklahoma State. She was upset. It was like, you should have been interested in him sooner. But it was
Oklahoma kid, right?
Yeah, but it was because had a new staff when Grinch and Coach Odom saw him. They got with Lincoln. They went and offered him, and Mama said, okay. And he always wanted to play at Oklahoma. Go figure that. An Oklahoma kid that wants to play at Oklahoma.
Listen, if you're raised in Oklahoma, unless you're plowing a field out there or riding a horse, you're probably going to be a Sooner.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. We win, they don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Gundy actually wanted to be a Sooner.
I'm sure he did. He wasn't as good as Cale, though, right?
Yeah. Cale was a Sooner. So that the family wasn't divided back then. Oklahoma just ran the wishbone, and
yeah, I wonder if their parents were, don't go to OSU, Mike. Go to OU. I mean, sure they were.
Yeah, but. It was, I bet you their Thanksgiving is interesting, or family gatherings.
Yeah, I've heard interviews, from both sides, and they say they just don't talk about.
Yeah.
They don't talk about
liars. I don't believe them.
Well, I mean, if you're Mike, you're not going to talk to Cale about football. I mean, Lincoln Riley has as many wins as Mike has, and Mike's been there forever.
Yeah. That's true.
So, yeah, if you're Mike Gundy, you don't talk.
But I'm sure Cale brings it up every now and then.
You think Cale's like, hey, little brother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean, boy.
Yeah. Christmas, the Christmas cards, the family Christmas card he sends him has the score of the game on it.
Or when he opens it up, it's all the championship trophies.
Yeah. And it, do.
That'd be awesome. Man, he would hate him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he would literally hate him.
But, anyway, like I said, we've got a fan on. He, that reached out to us and filled out the little form on our website, which anybody can do at www.soonerfootballfans.com. And his name is Shawn Woodson, so I think we'll get on the phone and get Shawn on here to talk a little bit of Sooner football. Does that sound good, Rob?
Sounds good to me.
All right, Sooner fans, as promised, we got another Sooner fan on the line with us. He comes to us from Claremore, but originally from Salina, Oklahoma. Apparently he was a fullback back in those days, Rob, so we may have to talk a little bit of fullback, you and him. But we want to welcome on the podcast Shawn Woodson. Boomer, Shawn.
Boomer boys, how y'all doing?
Fantastic, man. How are you doing?
Glad to hear it. I'm finer than frog hair.
Finer than frog hair. Well, that's pretty fine. So tell everybody out there a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I've been a Sooner fan since I could say the word. I'll be honest with you. My dad was a high school football coach, and I was on the sidelines when I was big enough to carry water bottles. And hang on a second. My hateful wife is walking out here.
Want to know you want to know who you're talking to?
I'm talking to the boys. Rob
it's Jake from State Farm. Tell her I'm wearing khakis.
What?
Tell her it's Jake from State Farm.
Okay. No, I'm getting a scalding look, boy.
Oh man, you're in for it now.
That's all right. Man, I get over it. But no, I've been a Sooner fan in my entire life. Like I said, my dad was a ball coach, and I've been on the sideline since I was, a little bitty fella, and it was just I just remember some of my fondest memories was with him going to OU football games. I still remember the first time I set foot inside that stadium, and it was like nothing I've experienced since.
What game?
So,
what game was it?
Oh my gosh, I think it was, I want to say it's 1977. No, 70. Was it 77? I think it was 77, and we were playing Kansas, and my dad was so tickled. I think it was we were playing Kansas, and he got so tickled because I think Oklahoma had got beat by him 2 years last time they played Norman.
Yeah.
Oklahoma fumbled the ball 4 times that day and ended up losing to Kansas. And I remember Dad being so excited that Oklahoma ended up winning that game because he wanted revenge bad on him. And my mom used to tease him because she got a newspaper. It was Tulsa World, and on the cover of the sports page said, "KU burst OU's balloon." And boy,
Was your mom not a Sooner fan, or did she just like?
No, she's a Sooner fan. She's just an antagonist, man.
As they all are. Yeah.
She used to tell Dad that Tom Osborne was a lot better looking than Barry Switzer. That burned him too.
Oh boy!
I bet that would do it.
But no. I've been around the game my whole life, and I've even after my brief stint in college, I started a sports memorabilia company, and I got to meet a lot of OU football players, did autograph signings with them and things of that nature, and yeah, man, it's just being around it. I love it. It's a dream come true, to be honest with you.
So, what's your do you still have stuff that you collected?
You know what, I did, but I've since. Like the money better than the product, so we slowly but surely sold it all out, and we haven't renewed it all, but we still got a website somewhere. Lord, I know. I don't remember the website now, but it was varsitymemorabilia.com back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to travel. We used to follow TriStar Productions all over the country and did signings. We did a signing with what was that guy's name? Oh, yeah, the quarterback from New England that you love so much. Tom Brady.
Why would you go anywhere where that guy was at? I mean,
well, hey, here's the thing, though. Bledsoe was the quarterback at the time, and Brady was the backup. So he was like, $10 a signature, so we jumped on him.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Now, see, one of the things that I've told people, I wouldn't call myself a collector. The Podcast Palace here, I've got quite a few, quite a bit of Oklahoma stuff, quite a bit of, Steeler stuff. But you don't have to spend a lot of money to have cool stuff. You can go to you can go to garage sales and pick up things that I haven't seen something like that in a while, and buy it for a quarter or $1. Rob and I was about 2 years ago. We went to a estate auction, or not an estate auction, an estate sale that the family was putting on, and the guy had 50 years of Oklahoma memorabilia.
Yeah, we bought a bunch of stuff.
But I mean, none of it was very expensive, except for the signed footballs. He had a whole bunch of signed footballs.
Which we did not get an opportunity to buy. We should have punched her in the throat.
There's a lady who literally walks in the place and walks to we're like fifth in line going in the door, and she goes up to that table and yells out, "I want all the footballs, come here and give me a price." And she had a big old wad of money. So,
yeah. There was a bunch of them, too.
No, but, I mean, I bought a Billy Sims signed jersey for, I think it was $15.
Yeah.
Jason White signed T-shirt for like $10. Josh Heupel jersey, and then a whole bunch of just little knickknacks, and you build a little shelf, put a bunch of little knickknacks on it, and and then if you buy a football, you can go down to Rudy's Barbecue on Tuesday nights during the season. If you got something you want Lincoln to sign, he'll sign it for
Lincoln
you. So
and Teddy and
yeah, Teddy,
the voice of the Sooners, Toby.
So
heck yeah.
But that's what it just depends on what you're wanting to collect. Now, if I got some pretty cool stuff that cost me some money, and then I got some pretty cool stuff that didn't cost me a dime that I traded people for. So yeah.
But hey, this is a true story. We had a guy come into our shop up there in Miami, Oklahoma, and he walked in there, and we had the Jason White jersey hanging up there. And I know Jason pretty good because his kid plays football with my nephew down there in Tubman. But he come in there and signed a jersey one time, and Chris put it on for sale for like, I think it was $250. But this old boy walks in and wants it, and he says, "Well, I'm not paying that price for it. It's too high." And Chris says, "Well, that's okay. We'll just sell it online, and we'll make our money." So he kind of gets mad and leaves. So anyway, Chris says, "You know what? I think I'll take it down to Branson and put it in the booth." And I said, "Well, go ahead." So he goes down there and he puts it in that booth, and about a month later, I come walking into the shop, and he's laughing. I said, "What's funny?" He goes, "I marked that jersey up to $300, and that old boy that wouldn't buy it here for $250 bought it in Branson for $300." and I said, "How do you know?" He goes, "Because look at you, got a check right here in my hand." And it was the same cat, had his address and everything.
No, that's not a smart collector right there. You don't.
No, but he was in Branson, and he had the little extra. He saved up to go to Branson.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't know it was the same jersey, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. He didn't know it was the same company, same jersey. Oh, that's.
After you get the money, you go, "Hey, by the way,
remember me?"
You know what? I've never seen that cat again. Chris may have said something to him, but as far as I know, no one's the wiser.
Yeah. And he probably, he's probably listening right now, and now he's cussing you like, "Oh my God, I remember."
He wants to return it now.
Yeah.
It's possible.
No, but I've got, I've shared this story before. I've got a 2000 national championship football signed by all the coaches that a guy gave me because his wife told him it clashed with the interior of her home. And he said, "I can't keep it. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Well, how much?" He goes, "You can just have it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I left as soon as I got it. He worked for me, and I took it home. You ain't getting it back.
Honestly, I think some of Terry's better things were given to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a Texas, Oklahoma program from like 1950. Rob, what is that?
1959.
1959. It is the most politically incorrect thing you've ever seen in your life. The cover of it is. Yeah,
definitely is.
God.
And one of my son's best friend, we went to church with them when they were kids. They grew up together and stuff. And he's a mechanic, and the guy gave him this program as part of a payment. And he said, "Well, Andy's not." He goes, I couldn't do anything." He goes, "Well, give it to somebody that you think would like it." And he was like, "Well, the only person I know of is Terry," so he brought it to me on my birthday. So, and it's one of the coolest. Yeah. So, you can spend a lot of money or you can spend a lot of time, But there's stuff on Facebook now that people are trading back and forth. You know, somebody has 2 signed jerseys. They want to trade a jersey for something that they don't have.
Sure.
You know, that's always fun to do. So
I always specialized in the Heisman. I know Rob's a big baseball fan, but if it ain't the Baltimore Orioles, I don't care who's playing. So I've been an Orioles fan since Eddie Murray was a rookie, but they're no good, so I don't follow baseball. but when we go to those shows, I always try to focus on. I like to work with the Heisman guys because they have the best stories. Paul Horning told me one time when he found out I was from Oklahoma, which it takes about 3 seconds because I'm in crimson head to toe every time I go to these things. So he said you know I played on an All-American team one time with a guy named Jerry Tubbs. And I said, shit, Jerry Tubbs. And he said he was snapping me the football, and I was a punter on the All-American team. He was snapping the ball, and it kept going over my head. And I said, hey, Tubbs, don't you boys learn how to snap a football at Oklahoma? And he turned around and told me, he said, we don't punt at Oklahoma.
That's right.
We have
and I thought that was so funny.
That's a good one. Yeah. Back then we didn't. So
no.
We don't very much anymore either. So
no, we don't.
Not so much.
Yeah. But so I mean what was the one thing if you ever, you know, that you got or that was hard to get rid of that you went, you know what, I like the money more, but you were like, ooh, or you might have seller's remorse.
And that didn't exist. Okay. I had it was the first year that OU was putting the actual logo OU on the side of the helmet. I want to say it was like 1964 or 5. It was the first year they actually implemented the OU on the red helmet, and I had it signed all the Heisman except for Sam, Jason, Baker, and Kyler. Those are the 4 I didn't have on it.
Right.
And had plenty. Well, of course, I didn't know Baker and Kyler at the time. I had the helmet, but I had all 4 of them on there, and then of course Mr. Vessels was passed on. But I was in Houston, Texas, at a show, and I had that helmet. And boys, you would not believe the Oklahoma fan base down there. It's ridiculous how many people show up down there in crimson. So they come over. This guy come over to the table, and you could tell he was, you know, well off. And he kept asking about that helmet, and I was like, you know, I brought that helmet, but I'm not for sure if I want to sell it. Which just made him want it more, dadgummit. and he started, you know, just kind of theoretically flipping bills, like 100, 200, 300, and I was just going to let him do it. And he finally got up to $500, and I sold that helmet. And I wished I hadn't have to this day, because it had Mr. Vessels on it, and Mr. Owens, and then Billy, and then you know the rest of them, or Jason. And man, I just wish I hadn't sold that helmet. That's the one thing. If I could pull the string on anything, it'd be that.
Yeah, that would be. You know, I always thought that would be cool to. You know, back in the day, I thought, you know, one of these days, and when, you know, Billy Vessels was alive, he was still going to stuff and signing stuff. I thought, you know, I always thought that'd be cool just to have every Heisman winner, you know, signature.
Yeah.
Unless it exists right now, you ain't getting it.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of them out there, but. You know, I think it'd be harder to get Kyler and Baker's signature right now than it would be just about anybody else's right now.
Yeah.
Besides Billy Vessels.
Besides Billy Vessels, yeah.
Be a little tough to get that one.
Be a little tough, yeah. But if you had Billy Vessels,
right.
You know, I don't know how hard it would be to get.
Well, Kyler was here just the other day, so you know, I mean, you'd have to get lucky to get it.
Yeah. You know, could have signed up for Baker's camp.
Yeah, you could have got it there probably.
Yeah, and showed up to that. You know, to say I'm 9 years old. And
I don't know if they'd let me do that, boys.
Find a kid and go, hey, I'll give you $20 here, kid.
Hey, don't put it past me and Rob. If you know, you know,
jump in your shorts in your pony cleats and go.
This is not something I am proud of. Okay, but I almost did it when I went to a Steelers training camp. Okay. Now I did get Ben Roethlisberger's autograph. He's the only one that came over to the tent, or not to the tent, to the fence, and he signed a couple things for me, and along with a bunch of other people. But the people I wanted, like Brett Kiesel, I just went blank. Well, I'm looking at his face right here. The linebacker.
Jack Lambert?
No, not Jack. I got Jack Lambert's autograph. Anyway, one of the linebackers.
Jack Amp?
No, it was 92. He played at the Bengals and came back to the Steelers, and he finished off his career with New England. I can't think of it. He was always getting drug tested. Golly.
Oh,
I got a picture of him right here in front of me. But Troy Polamalu, they were all standing over on the other side of the field, okay, around a group of people. And I asked some of the Steelers staff that was standing there at the deal. I was like, I know we probably can't go over there. Are they going to come over here? And they said, no. They're over there. There's a group of special needs kids, and there were the special need kids and adults. There were, people in wheelchairs and stuff. And they're doing a lot with them, so they probably won't have time to come over here. If I could have gotten a wheelchair, I would have. If somebody would have let me borrow a wheelchair, I would have rolled my way across that field. I am not proud of that, but I would have done it. If there was a wheelchair sitting around there, I would have done it.
Well, hey, I know you're a big Steelers fan, so I'm going to tell you this story. So we were at a TriStar show in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was sitting with Eric Crouch. He was signing 8x10 pictures of himself. And Bobby Mintz was the guy that runs the show down there. And he come up to me and said, "Hey, would you like to meet Jack Lambert?" And Eric Crouch said, "Yeah, sure." So we both got up from the table and walked back in this other back room area. And my cousin was actually working with Lambert doing pictures for him. And Vince walked him in there and said, "Mr. Lambert, this is Crouch, a Heisman Trophy winner from Nebraska." And I promise you, the man never looked up. He never broke stride. He signed one of those 8x10 pictures, didn't even look at him, handed it to him, said, "There you go." And so Crouch takes the picture and walks out of the room. I'm looking at Chris, and old Lambert looks up and goes, "I hate quarterbacks."
Now that's Jack Lambert right there.
That's hilarious.
Well, another, my son was in. My oldest boy was in the military, and he worked overseas for quite a while. And he called me one day. He'd flown in. And he was in New Jersey, I think, or New York somewhere. He was in a layover. He'd just got in from overseas, and he called me, and he was like, "I'm so ashamed of myself, Dad. You're going to hate me. I can't believe I did this." I'm like, "What? What's going on?" And he was in the VIP lounge, and Jerome Bettis was on the other side of it. And my son, you got to understand, my David's 6'5". He's a big kid. And he said he came in and was standing there for a second. He goes, "Oh my God, that's Jerome Bettis. I got to go talk to him, get a picture with him, and send it to Dad. It'd be so cool. See if I can get his autograph." He said, "I got halfway there, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I froze up." And he walked out. He goes, "He wasn't in there long, but he goes, I froze up. I just couldn't go through with it." And I was like, "What made you freeze up?" "I don't know. It was just, he was there, and I get that sometimes. I mean, if you run into somebody, unexpectedly, you might kind of, holy cow, it's them, but, and we're not all like Rob who runs into all the big time OU players at the stadium all the time, huh, Rob?
Oh, I mean, I see him from time to time, but it's not like
That's just stand off a beach to Rob. He sees them every day.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Jalen Hurts and one of the big defensive linemen walked right past me 2 days ago, or last week. It was last week.
Yeah.
And I actually flipped out my phone and took a picture of him, sent it to Terry, and I was like,
"Yeah." Did you ask him for the picture?
No.
So that was a stalker picture.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hip picture, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I got that. Where were they? Were they in line for food or something? Or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was up in the South Club. That's where they eat at.
Yeah.
Lunch. I was up there, and I was just kind of kicking it. Actually, I was interviewing a new vendor anyway. They come walked right past me. I was like, "Hey guys," they're like, "What's up, weirdo?" So.
But that happens to you a lot with just normal people,
Weirdo, crazy guy, something like that.
Rob walks through Walmart hollering at everybody. Well,
I don't go to Walmart.
Yeah, he doesn't go to Walmart. you do know their story, Shawn, don't you? Rob has his.
We don't necessarily have to go through this.
Rob has his groceries delivered.
Well, yeah.
Hey, my son delivers the groceries.
I always give him a nice big tip too.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rob literally lives a driver.
It's a driver wedge from
Walmart. You can see the store from his front porch.
Yeah,
literally, you could walk there and back in 5 minutes.
Well, guys, I now work I work for KTV Transports, and Boomer, and shout out to all those guys that work hard for me. But we deliver people water. I mean, this guy bought 14 cases of water from Sam's Club in Owasso, Oklahoma. The guy lives in Collinsville. He lives 15 miles away. So as long as people don't want to leave the house, I'm going to make money.
So, Rob, you can tell him you're welcome, all right? So, do we want to do the Sooner bucket of questions, Rob?
Sooner bucket of questions.
So you know what the Sooner bucket of questions is, right, Shawn?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. It's the random questions that may be about football. It may not be about football. It may be about life. It may be about a movie. It may be embarrassing. These are just questions that we looked up.
Randomly pulled questions. Yep. Are you ready?
I'll do my best, boys.
This one's pretty easy. Would you rather get lunch with Bob Stoops or Barry Switzer?
Ooh.
Lunch?
Yeah.
Man, my wife, she's in love with Bob, so I don't want him around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So lunch.
She chased him down one time. He was trying to leave the Bud Wilkerson house or run across the street, and she tried to catch him and grab him by the arm, and I had to go get that woman. So I don't want anything to do with Bob. I'll take Barry.
Barry. Now, see, I would have lunch with Bob, and
you only get one, Terry,
and go have drinks with Barry.
One.
Yeah, but I think I would be Barry. I think it'd be fun.
For sure, I'd do Barry. Yeah. Nothing against Big Game Bob, because that would be interesting. But I mean, Coach Switzer. I mean,
just the stories he could tell you about what happened yesterday would be.
Oh my God, that cat.
Okay, question number 2.
You got to talk in your microphone, Rob.
What's the worst food you've ever eaten? Or is it 8? What's the worst food you ever eaten?
8. What's the worst
food I've ever had, huh? Man, boy, I had haggis one time. I didn't care for it none.
Ugh, I don't think.
I'm gonna go with. You know what? I take it back. Thai food. Thai food is tasteless and it's just hot. And if you say you like Thai food, it's just you're trying to be some kind of hipster. So it's Thai
food. Rob, what's the?
So I was let's see. When I was a regional director with the Blood Plasma Company, I was in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I got me an order of
shrimp.
Oh, God. No, I wouldn't eat shrimp.
Yeah.
Oh, what they call it? It's just deep fried fat is all it is, and I didn't know. They call it chitlin. No, what do they call it? Golly.
Pork rinds?
Chitlins?
It's not a pork
Cracklins.
Cracklins. That's it. Cracklins. And they're like, yeah, you're going to love this. And so I'm like chewing on it. I'm like, well, I mean, the flavor's good, but I don't like the texture. I'm like, what is it? And they were like, well, it's deep fried fat. And I'm like, why would you give me deep fried fat to eat? I mean, I thought we were friends. And so, yeah, spit that right on out.
Yeah.
And did not finish it.
Well, mine's just going to be simple. It's beef liver. I cannot stand. My mom, she didn't make it very often, but when she did, and I come from a family, it was whatever Mama cooked, you ate, and I guarantee you I went through a bottle of ketchup just to do anything to wipe that taste out of it, but I couldn't. Mm-mm. And I've had Thai food. You're right. You're right on with the Thai food. It's that and
but your answer's next level, man. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, liver.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of beef liver myself. To be honest with you.
Chicken livers, gizzards, any vital organ I don't want to eat. Heart, tongue, brain, liver, kidneys. I'm not into.
No organs then. Okay.
No organs. So.
Okay. Question number 3. And I think I've asked this one before, but I'm not sure. If you were the dictator of a small island nation, I have asked this one. What crazy dictator stuff would you do?
Yeah. If you were a dictator of a small island, Shawn, what crazy dictator thing would you do?
PG. Shawn, PG.
PG-13 is PG.
I'm trying. I don't know. I think I'd have Catfish Friday.
You have what?
Catfish Friday.
I would make everybody would have to have bass tracker bass boats with 150 marks on them, but I got to have the champion with the 250 on the back. That way I get to the fishing spot quicker. That would be the only rule I think I'd ever.
Yeah. I think his first answer was going to be something like clothing optional.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I can read your mind all the way over here. Yeah.
So, okay, so that's the Sooner bucket of questions, just random questions that we didn't make up. You can find anything on the web, questions to get to know somebody, and there was this list of a whole bunch of questions. So, but let's talk a little bit about the Sooners this year. Shawn, what are you looking most forward to, or what are you upset about? What is your whole thoughts on what's happening right now at Oklahoma moving into 2019 season?
I think offensively we're going to be a juggernaut again. I see too much speed, too much talent. I know we're replacing 4 of the 5 offensive linemen, but these cats just line up. You know what I mean? It's unreal what Coach Biedenbaugh's done down there. And man, I drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to the defense. No dadgummit.
I can't do it.
You can too.
I'll drink that Kool-Aid all day long.
No, it is pissed me off for 3 straight years. The Kool-Aid has. I drink it. I'm like, after the FAU game this year, I'm like, man, holy cow, these guys are going to be good this year. And after that UCLA game, they just went away. Yeah, and I did it the year before last. And I'm just, I am not even going to put Kool-Aid in the cup or in the pitcher to stir in with any sugar or nothing until after the Texas game.
Yeah, I was stirring Mama Jameson before the season was over.
Listen, I'm drinking.
No, I'm confident that Coach Grant is going to come in and he's going to build. It's not just about. Athletically, I'm sure we're as athletic as anybody in the conference, but I think there's got to be a cultural change, and I think he's going to implement some kind of a cultural change where these kids will go down there and be hungry to play defense, and expect to get third down and long and to actually hold them.
Yeah.
How many times did we see 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, and it get converted? Oh my gosh! Texas did it to us on that last drive last year down the Cotton Bowl. Every time we get them a 3rd down, they'd convert the silly game.
Yeah.
Oh mercy.
Yeah, it was tough to and I was reading a deal today or the other day that the Sooners I think are 8-1 odds or 10-1 odds. No, 16-1 odds to win the national title. I think somewhere in there.
16-1.
No, or maybe it was 10-1.
Huh.
But they again, just like what I think most Sooner fans and most people did, they laid it on the defense, and the statement was, now if Oklahoma can just have a halfway decent defense, it may be a completely different story. So
just tackle.
Yeah, just tackle.
Just tackle.
Line up right.
I think we're going to have a halfway decent defense.
How many times did we see our linebackers making a tackle
5 yards downfield.
Yeah.
You know, attack at the line of scrimmage, get that penetration, get to the line, and attack. And our leading tackler, yeah, he had a lot of tackles, but they were all 5 yards downfield past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking for I'm looking for hungry. I mean, just someone hungry and got a little blood in their mouth. That's what. That's what we need, guys.
Yeah, so with that, the attitude of not just the '80s, but we've had a couple of guys on here, but Rufus Alexander, people, Roy Williams, Dan Cody, Dvorak, Tommy Harris, people that they'd just soon on the football field punch you in the face as to look at you. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And there's a guy here, Sam Mays, who does a radio show, and he talks, he went up against Tommy Harris, and he said, there was no doubt that guy, if he had a chance, he would kill me on the football field. That was his mentality on the football field. Off the football field, and now they pull, you said he's a great guy, but you put on a helmet on that guy, and you just haven't seen that type of intensity at Oklahoma in a long time. Our offense walks out on the field with swagger from the 80s and 70s. The Barry Switzer swagger. We're going to score on you. It don't matter what you do. We're going to score on you,
and we're going to make you like it.
Yeah, and our defense walks out there and I'm getting angry again.
Score on us.
Well, it's my dad was a defense. I mean, he was a head coach, but his forte was defense, and he used to just scream. He'd go, "There's no such thing as an All-American running back, but there is such thing as chicken crap tackling."
That is true. Now, where did your dad coach at? You said he coached high school.
Now, he coached numerous places. He started when I was small. When I first started knowing that he was a ball coach and all, he started the football program at a little bitty town called Lenapaw, Oklahoma, up in Nowata County. It was an 8-man football team, and he started that program there. Now, before that, he coached. He coached in Claremore. He coached in Catoosa, kind of all around northeast Oklahoma. But back in the '60s, when he was a younger fella, he actually went out west and coached in Oregon, and in the high school, not college. But he went out there, and they won 2 or 3 state champions. They took the wishbone to Oregon.
Oh, wow.
And went out they took the wishbone to Oregon. Him and a couple of his coaching buddies went out there and whipped everybody's butt. And then when everybody started running the wishbone, well, they moved back to Oklahoma.
They went up there and taught everybody how to do it. And then
So he coached all over, and mostly here in the northeast area of the state.
It's funny how high school teams emulate what's going on, because I remember me in little league football and boys club football in McAllister, but and some high schools and stuff in the 70s and 80s ran the wishbone, and a lot of colleges ran the wishbone, and then they went to the eye and power eyes.
Yeah, the power veer.
Yeah, and now you've got every high school team pretty much in Oklahoma running, and has been for the last 5 or 6 years or 10 years, running the hurry up spread.
Right.
5 offensive linemen and everybody else is out on a route. And it's not it's not like watching high school football like we used to play, or used to watch. It's all, there's no downhill running. It's all spread out and draws and zone reads and everything else. And I get, I know what, they're trying to get the kids prepared for if they get to the next level, but it's weird how, like I say, your dad goes to Oregon, puts the wishbone in up there, and, everybody in Oklahoma was running the wishbone back then.
Right.
And here we are now in the 90s. I don't know what anybody ran. There was no offensive identity, not just at Oklahoma, but I don't really think anywhere. I mean, it was maybe the pro set.
Pro style. Yeah.
That kind of West Coast, I guess that was what it was called, wasn't it?
The run and gun started kind of flourishing.
Yeah. But now, and now, like I said, you go to a high school, heck, you go to a middle school game, and, it's 5 down linemen, and, everybody else is out on a route. So.
Well, I mean, look at what it's produced, though. I mean, I'm from Salina, which is a little 2A school over here on the Hudson Lake, but our biggest rival was Locust Grove, just down the highway on that Highway 82 from us, and they just produced a quarterback, Mason Fine, that is carrying it up down there at North Texas.
Yeah.
And Locust Grove does the same thing Oklahoma does. They spread out 5 wide and swing the ball.
Yeah. And it's crazy to me when you look at these guys, now playing high school ball, back in our day again, up to in recent years, you used to have, the split end run, you had 2 split ends. They alternated plays. They would run, bring in the play. And now you go watch high school games and middle school games. You look at the offensive line, looking at the offensive line coach. The offense gets a signal, the line gets a signal. All these kids look at these wristbands and then line up. I'm like, dang, man, it was hard enough, back in the day when, Coach Wadsworth would, send in the play, 22 whirly bird, you had to know what the blocking scheme was for that and if they changed up, but to have to, look at 5 different signals and look at your wristband to read it off, I'm like, man, I may not have been smart enough to play in football nowadays.
That's me.
Because, somebody get the signal wrong, it's all gone. And you know how it is when you mess up on film.
Yes,
you get called out.
You do. especially when your dad's the coach.
So when me and Terry coached, we had several plays. Most of them were give it to Sterling to the left or give it to Sterling on the right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. When you got Sterling Shepard, a 4th grade Sterling Shepard in your backfield.
Of all the Sooners I've ever met, there's only been 2 that I was awestruck. You were talking about Bettis awestrucking your son.
Yeah.
Well, the only cat that's ever awestruck me was Sterling, my son was at football camp down in Norman the summer before his senior year, and he come walking by, and of course, I seen Eric Stryker, and of course I was talking to all those guys, and making them take pictures with the kids, but when Sterling walked by, there's something about him, and I think it's because I loved it when his dad played.
Yeah,
and he was a legacy.
Yeah,
and I think that's what it was that and I just couldn't approach him, and I was just like, oh man, it's Sterling Shepard. And Brian Ballsworth was the other one. I sat right next to him at a signing and didn't say a word to him.
Yeah, Sterling. I said we knew Sterling pretty well, especially my family, and him and Caleb went to grade school together here in Norman, and they were like best buddies. Sterling was always at my house when they were in 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah.
And but I don't know, when he was at OU, I would run into him at the mall or at a restaurant or something, and if he would see me, he would stop what he was doing. If he was around a group of people, he would walk out of that group of people, come over and give me a big hug. And it would always piss my wife off, because if we were in the mall and I ran into him, she was over at somewhere else, and I would tell her, hey, I just saw Sterling. Well, where's the animal? I don't know. He walked that way. Well, did he talk to you? Yeah, he talked to me, and I told him, you're going to be mad at me again because I've seen you again. And he'd run into Caleb, all the time. Caleb sometimes would send us pictures and say, would say, hey, Sterling said to tell you all hi. Just a super nice kid, always has been. And I know if I would run into him again today, it'd be the exact same thing. And what was cool was when the older he got, if he ran into us somewhere, he would always ask us. Almost the first thing out of his mouth would be, "Is Caleb with y'all?" Because him and Caleb were childhood buddies, and he would almost always say, "Hey, is Caleb with y'all?" And I was like, "No, he stayed at home." Oh, and then he'd start off whatever we were going to talk about for or so. But him and Caleb have always had. Caleb doesn't have a cell phone or anything, but when he's in town, somehow they always find a way to bump into each other. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And, great family too. His mom's a sweetheart. Probably still knows nothing about football, but she didn't have to. She had a kid. And I just saw, I guess, on Facebook, they're over in Paris at Fashion Week. So he took the whole family because, he married a model. Go figure that, So.
Well, you know what? He's a pretty good looking kid.
Yeah, he's a good looking kid. I'm not didn't say that, but
Well, let me ask you guys a question.
Shoot.
How much credence do you give to this Lincoln Riley going to the Cowboys?
None. 0. Rob, how much do you give?
No, I hadn't. He's not ready. I don't think. I mean, he may be the best coach in college football, or at least one of the best coaches, but I don't think he's ready for the pro game. Do you?
I don't know that it's not that he's not ready. I don't think he has any desire to do it. I mean, maybe in the future, but I've said this before. His mentor, his mentor's mentor went to the pros and failed miserably at it. His mentor's, or one of his mentor's best friends, Nick Saban went to the pros, failed miserably at it. Just because you're, and then you look at Goober out there at UCLA, the coach. What's the coach's name out at UCLA? Chip Kelly. Yeah, Chip Kelly. Yeah, failed miserably in the pros. Some guys that, I think, it's not that I don't think Lincoln has the ability. I don't think he has the desire to do it. He's got one of the best jobs in football, pro,
right,
little league, high school.
Along with the best facilities.
The best facilities, all that stuff goes along, and he genuinely loves working with these kids. I think it's to bring along, Baker and Kyler, and now Hurts falls from falls into his lap.
Were you gonna say heaven?
Yeah. Well, I was trying to say the Alabama perch, but he comes into Oklahoma, which just sets up Spencer Rattler for a year's worth of redshirting and to grow, get bigger, stronger, and then he's going to have him for 3. I mean, good Lord. I mean, and look at the weapons he has on offense. If he can put the other thing, I don't think it's a big thing of him going to the pros. He's only been he's been a head coach for 2 years. He's had the best offense in the country and the worst defense in the country.
Yep.
Okay, you got to coach both sides of the ball until he can put together something on that side of the ball. I don't think there's going to be many pro teams, and that's not making any knocks. I think he can, but he hasn't proven anything. He's proven he can build an offense that can carry a defense into the playoffs. But pros, you got to have strength on both sides of the ball.
For sure,
and Oklahoma,
Yep.
But my honest opinion is I don't think he has that desire. I don't think it's in his DNA. I mean, he likes, if you watch, he puts the stuff out on Twitter, the eyeballs, the video when
he's having a good time, I think.
Yeah, when what's his name, Crittenden, is that his name? I can't remember, the safety from California, when he called him and committed. Yeah, Cradell. Yeah, it was like Lincoln was like, air fisting, screaming and hollering, people come running down. I mean, he was genuinely excited that they landed one of the top defensive players like that.
Which is not what Mike Gundy does when you commit to him.
He tells you all the things you can't do. Don't go to visit anybody else.
Run your ass out of
I wonder if I wonder if Mike Gundy is just tired of being there and tired of dealing with it. To me, that's just what it seems like. It's like
a little burnout, isn't it?
Yes, I was. It's like he's daring them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's like, he's dealt with the situation up there. He's had good teams, and when he had good teams, there was always the Boone Pickens talk that Boone wasn't happy and this and this. And when you see him now, when he starts talking, he just seems like he's putting up the double birds towards you, like,
kind of.
Yeah.
He doesn't like talking to the media anymore. And, and to pull a scholarship because a kid went and took an official visit, I don't know. You ain't that big of a dog to be doing that.
No, they definitely can't do that.
He went to Texas Tech, man.
Yeah.
It's not like he went to Alabama or Oklahoma. He went to Texas Tech. Oklahoma State's got sheep barns, man. Texas Tech ain't got that.
You know, I've heard that, you know, the 3-star, you know, linebacker, Brynden Walker, that just decommitted from OSU and committed to OU. And it was a lot of things to do with his family, but there's talk out there that it was also, you know, he knew this kid that took the visit to Texas Tech. I mean, you know, had talked to him and everything. You know, they had both committed and was like, what?
Sure.
They pulled you just because you went and visited another school? They
Even
pulled
if
you.
he didn't know him. That he had to have known about it.
Yeah.
And was like, I don't know if I want to play there or not.
You know, or
Yeah, that just blows my mind.
yeah.
Are you that? You're not good enough to be stingy.
That's it.
Yeah, and arrogance needed or earned, I
Warranted.
guess. Yeah, warranted. That's it. That was the word I was looking for, because you don't, you know, you don't have any conference titles except what he's had one. You know, I mean,
Bad.
and then to have the arrogance to, you know, to tell a kid, well, you took a, you know, official visit when I told you not to. Well, he ain't yours yet.
Well, that arrogance goes to your head. Hey, when you win a national title, even though it was in 1945, you were the coach when it was put on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of arrogance goes to a fellow man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he helped them get that title, but
Yeah.
I can't remember how much it cost them, but
Application fee.
yeah, the application fee, I think it was $900 or something like that.
Oh, I put my hands over my face when I read that. I was like, "Oh, please don't! No, you didn't."
I
They were the only school that petitioned for it.
yeah, you know, the people put it out there and said, you know, the 1945 national championship. By the way, we got this in, you know, 2017. You know.
Oh, God bless them.
Yeah.
So
That's all
you
I
guys-
say. God bless them.
I'm sorry, I don't want to change the subject, but have you guys seen the footage of Jalen Hurts throwing at Elite 11 camp?
I have. Yeah. He is throwing
I haven't.
bullets, isn't he?
Yeah, it's posted out there now, so you can find it. The kid can really sling it.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a strong arm. So
And they're saying he's better than what he was. So
he is throwing bullets. So most of the passes are right now are somewhere in the 30-yard range, and I mean, he just lighting it up. I'm sure it's hurting some receivers' hands.
because I think he's throwing it to high school kids. You know, that's that Elite 11 and what else? The opening.
Yeah.
And because he's a counselor down there or
Yeah,
something like that. He's a
it's in Dallas, right?
yeah.
It's on the Dallas practice field or whatever. But yeah, you need to go out and check out that footage because he's.
Man, I will. I've been wanting to watch it, though. I didn't get to go down to the spring game because they moved the date on me.
You and a lot of people, but I think you might on a. The word is that Lincoln liked the atmosphere, and it may be something of a night game from now on. I don't know about a Friday night, but it might be a Saturday night game from now
I
on.
bet it will be.
Yeah. But it was the right call because would you have liked to have been there on Saturday?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I was just scheduled.
Yeah.
My schedule conflicted.
I'm telling you, in 2000, what was it, 18? The spring game, and I told people if it's as cold as it was, you know, in 2019 as it was in 18, I wasn't going to go. I am not going to go watch a spring game and be miserable like that. And then all day Sunday or Saturday when the spring game was supposed to be, it just poured down here in Norman, and it was cold. And I was like, yeah, I'll go sit through a lot of stuff, but playing in the state title and we were going to go was my alma mater, and I can't remember who they were playing. The day of, I was like, you know, we still on for tonight? And Rob's like, it's cold. I'm like, well, yeah. And he goes, I don't want to go sit up there in the cold and it was like, you know, 20 degrees. And I was like, yeah, that's probably, you're probably right. You know, we're too old to go sit and watch, you know.
Did you ever play in the snow? In your high school career?
I never played in the snow. I played in a blinding thunderstorm that they would have they would have pulled the kids off the field nowadays. And I played up in Pryor, Oklahoma in the playoffs my sophomore year, and it was like 10 degrees. And I was a sophomore. I didn't play all the time. I was backup nose guard, played some center guard stuff like that, special teams. And when they would call my name, because you'd come out and you would get cold, okay? And you know what happens when you get hit when you're cold, okay? Well, when they would send you back in, I was cold. Everything that happened to me hurt.
Yeah.
And I'd be in there for, depending on, sometimes 4-8 plays. And then, I'd done my job and they'd come pull me out. I'm like, don't pull me out now. I'm just now getting my body temperature has risen. But never have played in the snow. Have you played in the snow?
Oh, once in college.
Once in college. Now, where did you go to college?
I went to a high school university, a little Native American school up in Lawrence.
Okay.
It's about 3 blocks from KU. But yeah, we played. It was a junior college, it wasn't a university, and we played. I think it was Wentworth Military Academy or someone like that there in Kansas, and there was snow on the ground, and I just remember being so cold in that snow, and we had a little center from Anchorage, Alaska, and he was 5'4", 300 pounds, looked like a bowling ball snapped on a football, and loved it. He was.
Oh yeah, he was at home.
I've never seen him so vocal. Yeah. I was back there playing fullback, and he was screaming in the huddle. I'm like, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
I played it one time.
So how many times did you guys beat Kansas? Did you ever scrimmage them?
You know what? They used to. My high school actually beat Kansas a couple of times, and they had these great big plaques on our field house about it, but it was a long time ago, and I would never play them again. I always wanted to.
Yeah. So now
they were good back then. They were good. This was 1992. They beat the crap out of us. And had Gundy at quarterback, and I remember that game. I was just coach. Our college coach was from Oklahoma, so he wanted to go to the game. So he scheduled our game early, like at 11 a.m. kickoff, so we could be done with our game, so we could jawn over to watch OU and KU play.
Yeah.
So, and I remember we all got to go to the game, and I just remember, what was the kid's name? Been so long. I remember Kel threw 2 interceptions in that game.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
The only thing I remember that game, my son was playing football at that time, Little League football, and he was in a tournament, and they had the game playing over the loudspeaker. And Oklahoma was just getting drilled. And but there was a bunch of us so mad every time something bad would happen or good for KU. It was just people screaming and hollering, and nobody was paying attention to their kids. We were all upset about Oklahoma losing to Kansas. But Rob, what is Kansas famous for?
Beating Texas.
Yep.
Like last year or something.
Yeah, so that's always a good memory with
I know you guys are going to the UCLA game, but are you going to go watch the Texas game?
I don't know if we're going to go watch the Texas game or not. We kind of wait till the last minute on that, but we kind of got a good deal that Rob and I are a lot alike in some ways, and we're kind of not real. I don't want to say homebodies. We play golf and we do things, but sometimes I just like sitting at my house and watching the football game. And
I know that Texas and watching us beat them.
Yeah, I like going to the OU Texas game, but I like sitting in my living room on big games, and having I don't have to fight through the crowd to get a beer. My wife, Teresa, makes a big giant pot of chili. And we have friends over, and we usually have a pretty decent crowd here, and we just watch the game here. Now, I love going to the OU Texas game, but I don't know. We always kind of wait till the last minute. About 2 weeks before we'll go, yeah, we're going to go this year. Nah, let's not go. So, it's just, like I said, and I've said it before, and my biggest problem, being at an Oklahoma big game, even some bad games, okay, or not so big games, I'm always within 2 rows of the biggest idiot in the stadium, and I can't stand those guys.
For sure.
You know, I mean, we sat around some great people this year with our seats and stuff, but like that Army game, I mean, I almost want to go and punch Sooner fans. It's just like, number one, Lincoln Riley can't hear you. Mike Stoops can't hear you up in the press box. So stop screaming at them. I mean,
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I mean, it just, and so, and then, I don't know. And my wife, she laughs at them, which makes it even worse for me because I'm just like, don't laugh at them. We need to go down there and punch them. So, but, and I said that Texas game, everyone I've been to, there's a guy 3 spots from me that's just the biggest arsehole in the place, and he's a Sooner fan.
Knows it all, right?
Yeah, he knows it all.
Yeah.
He's yelling at the players, and it's like, dude, you're 63, rows up. You're a quarter of a mile away from the field. I've sat up in the upper deck at OU and saw a guy almost pass out screaming at the coaches. Oh, see, now you got me riled up, Shawn. But like I said, we might go. We still haven't decided yet. But it is nice. Just sitting here with good friends and a pot of chili, and after the game, everybody kind of sits around, falls asleep wherever we're sitting at, wake up a little bit later, and start all over again. So
There you do it again.
yeah. But no, Rob and I, we've decided we're going to try to pick a game, and my wife Teresa, we're going to try to pick a cool game to go to every year. This year it's UCLA, and next year we're going to go to Army.
Right.
And just spend our time, doing something. I don't, who do we play after that? Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. Yep. We'll have Tennessee coming up.
Going to Nebraska.
Then we're going to Nebraska. So there's some good road games coming up that.
Man, I miss Nebraska.
Oh, we've said it before.
I just flat out miss them.
Yeah, why Oklahoma and Nebraska did not keep that as a non-conference game is beyond me. I mean, Oklahoma and Texas did it for years.
I thought the world went to heck when they split the conference when we played them, a couple times every.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they just should have made us the South champions and them the North champions every year and just let us play for it. I mean, that's what it was like in the Big 8. We played them at the end of the year for the Big 8 championship. But so are you ready for our other game called Sooner Not a Sooner? Now you're probably going to smoke this one, aren't you? Because you've got all this memorabilia.
I'll fool you.
You'll fool me.
I mean,
Okay, Rob, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Kevin Murphy, Sooner Not a Sooner.
Say his name one more time.
Kevin Murphy.
Murphy. Murphy. Boy, I know he's a Sooner.
He's a Sooner, Rob?
He is not a Sooner.
No, he is a Sooner.
Dang it.
He was a second-round pick, linebacker. To who, Rob?
The Denver Broncos?
Nope, not the Denver Broncos. Oh, well. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That was my next guess.
That was your next guess? And that was in 1986. He played in 1986. So, let's see. Leon Crosswhite. Sooner, not a Sooner. Sooner? What position did he play?
Leon Crosswhite. Did Leon play? Was he a tailback?
Mm-hmm. And he played running back. 1973. Leon Crosswhite went to the Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions. That was what's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. Let's see. Ivory Christian. Sooner, not a Sooner.
Ivory Christian? I don't know him. Not a Sooner.
Rob?
He's a Sooner.
Nope.
Dang it.
Ivory Christian was Lee Jackson played him in Friday Night Lights, the movie. He played for the Permian Panthers.
I refuse to watch that movie, by the way.
Right, Friday Night Lights. How come?
Because it's a movie about Texas high school football, and it was filmed in Oklahoma. Give me a break.
Yeah, and Billy Bob Thornton was the coach, which was it just wasn't a fit. Let's see here. Jumbo Fumiko. Sooner, not a Sooner.
Oh, not a Sooner.
Rob?
Not a Sooner.
Does anybody know who Jumbo Fumiko was? Rob?
He was a pitcher.
Nope.
Okay.
He was the center for the Washington Sentinels on the replacements.
Okay.
Let's see. W.G. Wooten, Sooner, not a Sooner.
W.G. Wooten. Well, that's a 50-50 with me. I want to say Wooten. I'll say he's a Sooner.
Rob?
I'm going to have to go with Sooner, too, because you don't hear anybody named W.G. anymore. So that's got to be one of them, like, 1950 guys.
Close. 1945.
See, look at that.
A third-round pick to the Cleveland Browns.
Look at there. I'm 2 for 2. Not really.
Let's see. Keith Gary, Sooner, not a Sooner.
I may be wrong on this one. I'm going to say he's not a Sooner.
Rob?
I'm going to say not a Sooner. He wasn't a pitcher, though.
No, he was a Sooner. Keith Gary
Dang it.
was a number 1 round draft pick. He was a defensive end to the
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
Got it.
Wait. What was his year?
1981.
Should have known that one.
Yeah. But, looking at through this stuff, man, we had some great names back in the days. Steve Zabel. Yeah, these are ones that we've already gone through. But Carl McAdams. My dad he knew Carl McAdams. My dad was alive. They used to visit a lot. Nice guy. I'm just going through here.
You know what? We were at Louis the other day, and there's a group of guys that go in there and probably every day sit at the bar.
They go in there.
Anyway,
they meet every day.
They come by us quite a bit while we're doing our podcast and stuff. And he started asking us about who would be our top 5 Sooners of all time. And it's funny, if you talk to like Caleb, Terry's son's group, they're going to have Adrian Peterson and Baker
Mayfield.
But they don't know the guys. Like he said, Tommy McDonald's got to be the number 1.
Yeah.
And the younger kids, they don't even know who that is.
Yeah, Wahoo McDaniels,
Wahoo McDaniel.
So I'm like, you
He was a
got Billy
wrestler.
Sims in there?
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma has had so many great players since just the 50s. You know what I mean? And to pick just 5.
Well, and it was like I was telling that guy at Louis, you would have to separate it offense and defense because you just can't. There's just too many good ones.
And you really have to go, go ahead, Shawn.
I was going to say, heck, you might have to break it down by position.
Yeah.
And then,
who's your top
even
5
by era. There's just so many. So.
Because, people will always sit back and, say, Oklahoma, they've never had anybody with Kyler Murray's speed. Okay, but you know what? I guarantee you.
I don't know about that.
At quarterback, they were talking about, at quarterback. But we probably had some quarterbacks that were so much. Jack Mildren was
Steve
probably
Davis,
much tougher. Yeah, Steve Davis. These guys were.
Steve Davis.
They weren't. They were the perfect wishbone quarterback, but they were the toughest guys out there. These kids got drilled. Every play. They weren't every play. They were getting. When they do that, hit the pitch, they would get, a face mask planted in their chest. So, And I know Adrian.
It wasn't sissy football.
Yeah.
Back then.
Adrian Peterson. There is without a doubt one of the greatest running backs ever. But
those people don't realize that J.C. Watts was a 2-time Orange Bowl MVP. Now I don't know how many people are the MVP of the same bowl 2 years in a row.
Right?
And
he's good.
But you look at again, Adrian Peterson. You look at guys, Joe Washington, who the only reason he didn't win a Heisman Trophy is because Oklahoma wasn't on TV.
Right.
The 2 times.
Yeah.
They got banned from TV. They got banned. He was the best running back of that time.
Yeah. But you know what? Billy Sims should have won back-to-back Heisman.
Yep. And back then they weren't going to give it back-to-back.
Right.
So, I mean, and then you go to the defensive line. You got the Selman brothers, and then you got Tommy Harris.
Well, defensively, I think you got to start with Leroy Selman, don't you? He's like number one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was out of all of them, that's the easiest one to pick.
Yeah, but then and then right after I'm thinking, I think Tommy is because in this day and age, Tommy Harris was double teamed and triple teamed his whole career at Oklahoma.
Yep. There
was a reason why Dan Cody and Dusty Dvorak made so many tackles because everybody was blocking Tommy.
That's true.
That's but then you run in. I'm trying to think of some. I just went blank on the other guy. I was thinking about Ricky Bryan. Okay,
Ricky Bryan.
I mean, God, there's.
Go back to the '60s, like Granville Liggins.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy was a beast up there at nose guard. A beast.
Yeah. The Granville Liggins has his own section in the stadium, so he's good. I'm just telling you. Yep.
Yeah, but but that was one of their discussion. They came up this past Thursday, and that like I said, these guys, we go every Thursday to Louis. They go every night. Every night. It's just a group of guys from 5 to 7. They go sit at the bar. I don't know. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and as they go to the John, they swing by and say hi and talk to us, and they were like, "Hey, we're having who are your 5, top Sooners?" You're like, "God, I can't do that."
I mean, that's what we do, though.
Yeah,
Sooner football fans, we just talk.
Yeah,
and so those guys are great because they were, they're a little bit older than Terry and I are, so they've got some memories that we don't have.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk to them. But
and then we're thankful. We're thankful we're not Oklahoma State fans because they can't come up with 5. So
bless their heart.
They can come up with 2. Well, 3. They come up with 3.
And one of them's the coach, and the only reason they remember him is because they see him every year.
Yeah.
The rest of the fans, they can't remember anybody else.
They had a running back that got busted for rape or something. What's his name? Played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I know what you're talking about.
He's in their top 5. Got to be.
Yeah.
So
he's the one who returned the punt, and then there was Dexter Manley who got through. Got a college degree and couldn't read.
Could not read. Yeah, remember that one. Yeah.
I actually worked with a guy that Dennis Patrick. He was an offensive lineman at Oklahoma State in the '80s when Man was there, and was his tutor. He tutored him, and I asked him when I found out he played at Oklahoma State, and I said, "So, that guy really struggled with his grades?" He goes, "Oh God." He says he had barely signed his name on an NFL contract.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is sad. I mean, we laugh about it, but it's really sad that a guy goes through his whole life.
Well, he goes through 4 years of college.
But I mean, he was carried by football. You know what I mean?
Well, sure he was.
But it's sad, but it's still like, how does that happen? I mean, how
I bet it doesn't happen like it used to.
No. I mean, do you ever watch?
Is that a typical OSU graduate? Or,
maybe the football team doesn't. Maybe the rest of their school can't read. Last Chance U. Do you ever watch Last Chance U, Shawn?
Man, I want to watch it. I haven't seen an episode yet, though.
Yeah, well, my wife started watching it a couple of weeks ago. Binged watched it. And they were one of the things they spend a lot of time on is the in the first season and the second season is the counselor, the academic counselor. This woman had the hardest job in the world.
She was buying pencils like
God.
crazy.
These kids, I mean, you know, they're junior college, and they're Division I athletes. They've been kicked out of programs is basically what it is. And this girl is basically having to stand out in the hallway of this junior college and make sure the football players get to class. Going, you know, she's their best friend and their worst enemy. But it's like this woman is working 15-hour days trying to get these kids just to go to school, take a pencil, you know, to class.
Listen, just get some effort, and you're going to play D1 football with a chance of going pro.
Yeah.
What do you not get about this?
No. You know, and you know, like my coach used to say, you know, guys, and back in our day, you know, to be off, you know, to get to play, you had to have a C, you know, maybe a D, but he goes, you know what, guys, if you show up and write your name on the top of the paper, you get a C. That's all you got to do to play football. Okay. You know, if you can't go to class and write your name, you got problems, you know, because that in itself will get you a C. But like I said, anymore though, man, the academics are, you know, looked at, you know, attendance and everything is tightly watched now. Yep. But
well, that's why I like when I hear, like, you know, a lot of, like, I mean, Ty Darlington was one of these guys that was just an academic All-American. Yeah. You know, I like hearing that. I like hearing that our guys are, you know, are.
Well, Brian Bosworth was too.
Scholars.
You know.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Had fortune marketing.
the Bosbuster shirts.
Pretty brilliant.
Oh, but anyway, well, I think that's about it. And Rob, do you got anything else?
Man, we covered it.
We spent, you know, I know you can never say you've spent enough time talking Sooner football, but we could keep going all night, and people would keep listening. But you know, Shawn, we appreciate you taking the time out to join us and sharing your memories and all of that.
Blast.
And you're welcome back anytime. Just, you've got my number now. Just shoot me a text. Stay in touch. If you come to any games, come by our tailgate, hang out with us, and we'll be happy to share an ice cold one with you.
Absolutely. Plan on that happening, man.
All right. Well, that's the podcast for today. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Jerry.
Boomer Shawn.
Boomer, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Sooner Football Fans Podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans, and visit our website at www.SoonerFootballFans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.